Hello, my loves. If you are a high achieving woman, successful, you run your own business, you know the drill, you have a very strong masculine, but when it comes to your relationship, you literally are not feeling your turn on. And you've got like the perfect man, the man of your dreams, the man that you love. But when it comes to actually sex and intimacy, you are feeling blocked. And this is something that you have struggled with your whole life, but it's really coming up to the surface now that you're in your partnership with your dream man. I want to invite you to listen in to this talk. I'm having a beautiful one on one client come in today called Meaghan, who really reached out having this exact problem. She had her dream man, she'd gone through the inner work, and now when it came to actual sex, intimacy, connection, she was feeling so blocked. She was struggling, and she knew it was going to cost her relationship. It was something she was staying up at night crying her eyes out about. So I want you to hear her journey inside Sam, what she went through. And if it resonates with you, feel free to book in a call below and be in touch. I would love to hear where you're at and see how we can support you too. Okay, my darling, it is so good to have you here. Megs, before we drop into anything, please introduce yourself, share a little bit about yourself, just so whoever is watching gets to know a bit about you.
Yes, awesome. So thanks for having me, Emma. My name is Megan Janice, and I'm an online nutrition fitness coach for women. I've been doing it for about 7 years, and also, living nomadically while I do that. Hence, I call myself nomadic fitness. Um, yeah, so been living all over the world, settled in South Africa, Cape Town right now, which funnily enough, that's where you're from. But and doing my online hustle in a very happy relationship. Um, but yeah, came to Emma because I kind of have always felt like limited in my sexual realm. And I just was tired of that. And I was like, you know what? I want to learn how to feel like just more in my body with those things and more easeful and flowing with it.
Firstly, thank you for sharing. And never limit yourself on your business. Megan's like a boss babe for anyone who's watching. I'm a fangirl forever of Megan. But okay, yeah, share with me a little bit about the early start. Like when we first came together, I know you shared a bit like you felt like you had limits. What was kind of coming up for you with like your connection to your body, your sexuality, your relationship? What were the big like sticky points for you?
I think it was mostly just around feeling like, okay, um, almost like kind of even like afraid or like avoidant of like sexy time, which is crazy because, and I think, you talk about this in your content, like, I'm really happy with my partner. We have a really good, really loving relationship. I'm very attracted to him as well. So it's not like I was like on like not wanting sex for those reasons, is more just this like, and I knew it was very much like, I'm like, oh, this is a me thing. And like, I don't know, like, I think I always had very like limiting beliefs. And I know a lot of women struggle with this. So it's also good that you do this work for that reason. But just kind of feeling like, oh, okay, like I don't know how to like enjoy it enough, or I feel kind of like worried. I'm like just very in my head instead of like being in my body and being in the pleasure that one, especially as a woman, should have. Um, and not like entirely, it's like it was give and take, but I knew it was like, okay, I definitely have this block and I know it's there, but I'm just being a bit like avoidant of it kind of. But then obviously, it's like, okay, this is coming up in my relationship. And I just don't want it to be an issue anymore. So that's why I sought you out.
Yeah. Also, thank you so much for sharing, like, firstly, very vulnerably, and secondly, like, I just think it's so important because so many women are in that position, right? Like, where we do have the relationship of our dreams and like our love, and it's like, and you worked so hard in your inner journey to like call in your partner. So you
Yeah.
got him, and then
Mhm.
it's like there's this area where intimacy and like kind of blockages were coming up. And I'm curious as well, like in that coming up, had that been something that you'd always struggled with, or was it something that was like specific to the relationship? Like, how did it kind of come up for you to the point where you're like, oh gosh, this needs attending to?
I feel like it for me, yeah, it was always kind of like a lifelong thing. Um, and yeah, big part of that, I'm sure a lot of women can definitely attest to this, is like I was also on hormonal birth control for so long. And I did notice when I came off of it, like I noticed a big difference and an improvement. So I was like, okay, I see that there's more to this, but still feeling, yeah, just like not confident really is the way to sum it up. Like just not confident in that realm. And I feel like with like previous boyfriends and stuff, like they're also kind of avoidant men themselves. So it was like we just didn't, and I mean it would come up maybe every now and then, but it was kind of like we didn't go there a little bit. So just kind of like not being very honest. Versus in now my current relationship, like my partner's just definitely more not one to like avoid or like one to sweep things under the rug, which is great. And I love that. And that was a very intentional thing that I manifested. But then of course it's like, okay, well now I also have to confront this, right? So yeah, I think that was just the biggest thing, was just like just really feeling confident, and then with that feeling like avoidant around it.
Yeah. But also like these areas I'm like are so unspoken about and so important. So I'm really grateful you go there because the amount of women, right, who have this and it's like, yeah, you've attracted in the past relationships that don't fully serve you and you've shifted them and you've done all the inner work, but then that part of you is still there and you get your dream man. And then it's like so confronting because that is the one area that like just pulls us out of our power. And it's not like it would cost the entire relationship, but it literally takes away your confidence, your love, you're like, so it's a big one and important. And I think if anyone is ever watching this, to know that we have so many beautiful women like our sweet Megs who start here, right? Like it's like a freaking thing. I'm curious to know where you are now, since we kind of worked together, since we went through the process. How are things currently for you?
I think the biggest thing I learned from you is, well, number one, that, there's nothing wrong with me, that this is actually super normal. Because I think it's like a lot of women kind of have that narrative of like, oh my God, why am I not just this like super like turned on 24/7 having crazy orgasms, like what, oh, must be because there's like I'm like different or something, like something wrong, blah blah blah. um Even though, like, I mean, I've heard from so many female friends who feel very similarly, so it's like I kind of have always known, like, I know I'm not really alone, but nonetheless, like that's where your kind of fearful mind goes, and you kind of create that narrative. So I think just going from being like, okay, um, I'm just like supposed to feel like turned on and in all this pleasure, and realizing really like that as women, we more so have to kind of create that for ourselves, and not expect like our partner to be the one to do it, or to like just innately know everything to do. And then it's more like we have to get into our own turn on, and we have to like get more like comfortable and just like familiar with our bodies, and that like it actually just kind of like anything, it's like something you have to be like, okay, take time for this. Uh Actually do the practices that are going to get you more in your body. And I think that that was really like my biggest takeaway, was it was like, oh, okay, it's not that I'm lacking in pleasure or lacking in turn on, but it's just like I was never giving myself the space or the time to actually like drop in and be like in my body, and just like kind of learning myself in that way. And yeah, once we started doing that, I was like, oh, I see there's actually like there's a whole world here, and it's actually not that difficult. So but yeah, I think it's just so many women just don't really know what to do or how to go about it. So this is where your work really helps us. Yeah, so now I just am feeling much more like, okay, this isn't that hard. Like I know how to make it like make it more about me, like coming into my body and like getting into the zone my way. And knowing that like that's actually gonna be well received by him instead of kind of how I used to be and how I think a lot of women are, where they're just very like, okay, sex is kind of like for the man a little bit, and they're like they're so disconnected and they're very in their head. So now I'm more just like I'm like not making it about me, but like sort of in a way, because I'm like, well, if I make it about me, everyone's gonna win. So, yeah.
I always like to say to girls, like, what we don't know, we don't know. And like, it is simple once we know what we need to know about our own pleasure and we can like cultivate that. And it's so, firstly, I just love this so much too. But like, the fact that you have learned what you need for your body, but then you can also bring it into the bedroom and have like a really different experience altogether with your love, right? I'm kind of curious how that's been feeling for you because I know when we first started, you were like, I did not feel confident at all. How's that aspect looking for you in your relationship now?
Yeah, now like I think it's still a work in progress, like of like getting to like a uber confident place or whatnot. But like I'm definitely much more confident. And I feel like I just kind of have like tools in a way, like levers to pull and like kind of like yeah, and I think also just not overcomplicating it and not overthinking it, which I think is what I used to do. Yeah, so feeling a lot more like this can just be easy, this can be flowy, can be vibey, take your time. Just have fun with it. Like, yeah, focus again, put the attention more on yourself. He's gonna love that. Everyone's gonna win. So yeah, like I think it's still a matter of like continuing to practice it and work at it, but definitely overall feeling much more confident and just like a very different perspective on the whole thing than I had previously.
But also so beautiful because I remember when we started, you were just like, I something's wrong. Like, I don't know. I've always been like this. Like, and I was like,
Mm.
it's just a matter of time. Like, and then give yourself the space and give yourself the practices to experience yourself differently and then experience yourself differently with your partner. And you guys start to build your own like flavor. I always say, like, every woman has a sexual flavor, and some women are like lemons and super intense, and others are like milk and they're like creamy and light. And we have to find our sexual flavor and then learn how to cook our yumminess, whatever we're cooking up with that and with our partner to have that like chef's kiss experience, right?
Yes, definitely. And yeah, I see that now.
Yeah. I'm also curious, I know you said you feel like you have like tools in the toolkit. Like what do you think were some of the things we did together that like really helped you get to that place of feeling more confident, learning your own turn on, learning your body, experiencing yourself like this for the first time?
I think just like the kind of going slow, putting, and it all sounds kind of obvious, but like, yeah, like going slow, putting on music, like being with your own body, kind of like, you're like moving and you kind of start slowly and then you're like picking up the speed. Even just like dancing, moving around your body, and obviously kind of like touching your body and being more like savory and sensory with it. Yeah, because I think a lot, and I feel like our culture as well kind of paints sex usually in this more kind of like, oh, there's like quick thing and like, it's like 0 to 100 type thing. And so I think that kind of also, at least for me, I feel like for a lot of women, because like from friends I know, like makes women feel confused, kind of like, okay, why am I not just like this horny, crazy thing, like person instantly? And so yeah, just I think learning like, no, you're a woman, you have to be like, as you would maybe say, like in the juiciness of it, like taking your time, getting like dropping in, get into the flow, and like it's okay if it takes like a while, like give yourself, whatever, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Like it doesn't need to be this like instant thing. Um, and I think, yeah, that just makes all the difference of like, okay, if I actually take my time and like get into my body that way. I'm like just moving, feeling. It's like, okay, now I'm kind of like in and I'm like more, I'm in that mood as opposed to just expecting myself to like be more like a man and just be like, oh, I'm like instantly there.
And I feel like it's such an important topic that so many women need because we talk about it like in a few seconds and it's like, oh, this and that. But like these are areas that literally like destroy relationships for years, right? Like and it's like obvious, but if a woman doesn't actually know how to slow down, how to get into her body, how to be in that energy, we do still default to that masculine sexual experience and it closes us, right? It's like if we have a tiny little flame and then this like this and it just blows us out and we're like, I'm not turned on. And then our partner's like something, yeah. And yeah, it's beautiful to hear your experience too and like the simplicity, but also the slowness of cultivating your own sexual energy and your own sexual currency and learning to be selfish. I remember we had one call, it's like, your selfishness is selfless. It's a selfless act to be selfish in sex. Like, but
I
so
see that.
I'm like, be a selfish person. Just there. I mean, everywhere else, do what you got to do. Like, be the giving, loving woman. But gosh, in that area, it's so powerful because men innately are masculine. They plumage. They have no problem doing that. Healthy masculine. So yeah, so beautiful. Something I also was curious to ask you is, was there anything that like nearly stopped you or prevented you from joining in and like coming into the space?
Uh, I think just the same as like what was stopping me from like being more in tune with this and like addressing this area in general. So nothing like about you, more just like the general kind of like avoidance of it, like, oh well, don't really even want to go there, like type kind of, yeah. I mean, I would probably like parallel it to being a fitness coach, and it's like, the woman who's like obviously not happy with where she's at health and fitness wise, and like she knows she should work on it. She knows she would prefer to be healthy and fit. And she knows like, yeah, like she's kind of like avoiding it, a lot of people are like that. It's just like, well, and like not really facing the music, like not like admitting the truth. And then I think, just with as it is with those women and like usually just when they sign up with me, it's just like they literally just hit that point where they're like, I finally cannot avoid this anymore, and like I cannot stand it, like this is becoming such a problem for me, like I have to do something about it. So I think that was like a similar parallel for me, and I would imagine other women signing up with you probably would say a similar thing where it's like, yeah, like, but like, let me not go there, and like kind of avoiding it until there's kind of some sort of tipping point. It's like, okay, I really need to do this. So that's what happened with me.
I was literally gonna say, like, if I had a dollar for the amount of women I speak to who are like, yeah, like I've been really wanting to get to this for the last like 10 years and like my previous and my divorce. And I'm like, okay, like this is probably a good time, but it's such a sticky point, right? Like pleasure, I think because it should be simple, a bit like fitness. Like it should be simple, theoretically speaking. We should just be healthy, thin, beautiful people, but like then it's not. And then you're like facing your own demons and years of compact, which is huge, right? So yeah, it's beautiful that you like came to that point and was like, okay, let's just get right in there. Let's get balls deep. Let's figure it out. Let's feel into it. Let's have a different experience, right? I want to just play a role, become a energetic escort for a little while. It's great.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think like just having it, um, like, because yeah, people again, they'll know that, oh, I know I should do something about it, like, or even more so, like I kind of know what to do, but like I'm just kind of not really doing it, or like, oh, I'm sort of trying, but and yeah, I think it just makes such a difference in your program and like also what I offer too, where it's just like, okay, having support, accountability, reassurance, like expertise as well provided that you are lacking as the client who's coming for counsel. Um, and kind of like that there's like a framework as well. Like, okay, here's exactly like the steps, here's how we're going to create this result, like here's the things that we're going to do. Yeah, it just makes it like streamline. It makes it feel like, okay, like I just got to follow steps, I just got to show up, I got to communicate, and instead of kind of like weirdly trying to piece it together on my own and being like, well, am I really doing it right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like that was what kind of like made you take the leap, was the fact that there was like obviously a very clear method, but also the support and about in a place where you could kind of go there safely and figure things out for yourself rather than like in the soup of it?
Yeah, I think so. And like I think well no, yes, definitely. But what I'm thinking is just that I think especially with this, it's like it's great that there are women like you who are very loud and proud, speaking out about it online and like being like a light in this kind of because it is such a vulnerable thing and it's so like generally speaking it's very taboo, it's very repressed for so many people, and it's kind of this, yeah, like a very shameful, like very very deep shame, like so I think it's really important for the person, and this was how I felt. I was like, okay, this really needs to be like a space that's like it just feels like this is so safe to open up about this, like, and also it's my feelings of like shame or just like discomfort, whatever. It's super normal, like totally understandable. Um, yeah, like yeah, I just think it's so important to really have like the container where it's like, okay, not only are we gonna actually have a framework to work on this, but also that it's just like you can trust me, like this is like a safe space for this, and to not have to feel weird to like, because yeah, I think it's not common really to have a space where it's like, okay, this can actually be a container where you can openly discuss this. We can like really get into the nitty gritty of it. I just feel like that doesn't exist that much in society.
I like, oh, I always say it like we've lost the feminine, like the red tent, I often call it. Like we've lost the feminine lineage in our current society because it's been so run by like the patriarchy and the very unhealed masculine, which has done great things. Like I am not here to like ever hate on the masculine, but the feminine lineage has kind of been lost. And then we're just sat there and we don't have a sister to talk to or a grandmother or a mother or woman to be like, hey, these areas, like with my pussy, with my yoni, with my orgasm, with my touch, with my man, with my, we just don't have that resource. And I always say it's an edgy space to create, but it's the most natural thing that every woman needs, and it's so beautiful to be able to be like, no judgment zone, and let's experience, like let's find your flavors, like let's find your flow, let's find what like really gets you into your place with your man so you are confident, relaxed, experiencing your pleasure. It's like, so yes. Final thing I would love to ask, if there was another sister sitting opposite you right now and she was kind of on the fence about joining in and she was going through her internal struggles, whatever they would be, what would you really want to share with her and say to her?
Yeah, I would just say life is too short. Like, stop delaying on this. And uh, it's really not that complicated or difficult or scary. You really provide the space for it to feel like safe, for it to feel accessible and not that like difficult to integrate. Um, and it's just so worth it because yeah, it's just like, you've been kind of avoiding this your whole life. It's like just don't waste your time anymore. Like this is one of the best parts of your life and it really should be. And it gets to be, you get to experience that, but you just need to learn how. And it's not actually that difficult, but nonetheless, like you need to kind of face the music. You need to like really face it, get in there, be vulnerable, share, and learn kind of the practices, um, whatever it may be for you. I mean, like I know for me, it was like quite a practical thing of, and I think for a lot of people it would be of just like, okay, what exactly do I actually need to do to like get into the right mindset and like into the right experience. And I found that really valuable. So yeah, that's what I'd say. It's just like don't delay, just get in there and get the experience that you deserve because yeah, this really should be one of the best parts of your whole life.
Yeah, also so beautiful. And I'm like, yes, like I feel like it's just like I call it an energetic boot camp. I'm like, we just, every woman needs this, I feel, in today's society where we just crack in and master our sex and we're like balls deep down the rabbit hole. And then we figure it out and we come out the other side and we're like, huh. But if we don't, it is this like really painful, perpetual cycle that's really destructive because women disconnected from our sex, it's like being disconnected from life. It's like, so
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't agree. And also, thank you for sharing. I'm like, yes, yes, to all of this. It's just important. It's like anything to master, it's an important area of life for women to master for your life, for your relationship. Okay,
Yes,
my
definitely.
on that note, is there any final thing you would love to share, or are you feeling complete for the women who are receiving your transmissions?
Um, yeah, I feel like I shared mostly pretty much everything. Like I said, like I think just it's just really about yeah, having the container, the kind of safe space to for something that is so vulnerable and like feels scary and shameful for a lot of women, hence their lifelong avoidance of it. So I mean, yeah, you really do get that space here, and I think that's so valuable, and it's not easy to come by. Um, and just the like very practical uh application of kind of like, okay, here's actually what you're gonna do to turn this around and start getting the experience you want. So yeah, I think you provide a great program, a great container that way. So definitely anyone who's struggling with this should check them out.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, baby, yes. And on that
Yeah.
note, if you are watching this and you've got to the end, there's always a link below to book in a discovery call. And if this impacted you or you're in a similar experience, please reach out. I'm so grateful, Megs, that you did, that we had that call a good couple months ago now. But it was like, yeah, this is so beautiful. And it's such an honor to have held you in the space. And thank you so much for sharing your journey with all of us. We just love you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Emma.